All right, so there's the detention docket, July 27. Before we get started, go over a couple of things. Personally, what the law says, when a child is brought to our facility, you have to see a judge within 2 business days. And I have to decide whether to keep you in custody or not. This is a detention hearing. This is not your final trial. This is not about whether you committed the crime or not. It's simply about whether I should detain you or I should release you back into the community from our detention center. Now, this process is based on 2 steps. First, I need to decide that if there is probable cause or not. That means can somebody articulate, which means can somebody put into words a series of statements that, if they were true, would be a violation of our laws. That means it's if they were true. This is based on hearsay. There are no witnesses. There's no exhibits. This is not about, again, whether you did or not. This is simply about whether you're being accused properly of an offense. If I find there is probable cause that you committed an offense, the next decision is to decide whether or not to release you. If I release you, it can be under any kind of reasonable condition. However, if I was to detain you, the law says you must see a judge every 10 days while you were here. You do have certain rights in this hearing. You do have a right to remain silent. So if you, and I advise you to remain silent. However, if you give up that right, anything you say at the detention hearing cannot be used against you in any other type of court setting. You also have a right to an attorney. If you or your family cannot afford an attorney, I will provide one for you. So I'm sure there's information that you will have that's relevant to your case and will be necessary later on. However, I want to remind you, this is a detention hearing. So I advise you to take that information and give it to your attorney, because I'm basing this off of the police report that came with you. The district attorney, while here, does not have a right to speak or present anything, just like your attorney really does not. I mean, you have a right to be heard, but we're not fleshing out your case right now. And likewise, to the parents that are here, if there's information relevant to your child's case, I would recommend that you talk to your child's attorney about that rather than blurting it out now. This may not be the time, although I may have questions for you. All right, let's go and start with Phyllis. Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, Phyllis, you've been here for about a month now. Okay, I wanted to give you brought you back in June. Rough recall. Victim had a cut over his left eye, a large amount of blood. Said that his former girlfriend, who identified as you, messaged him to hang out. He picked you up, said you told him to go to a location. We were planning to park and smoke some weed. Car pulled up, black male came out shirtless with dreads, tapped on window with a gun and a pistol with a mounted flashlight and extended magazine. So he made to exit the car. When he did, you got the driver's seat, drove off. Victim's forced these at gunpoint, empty his wallet, and took cash, iPhone, and hit him in the face with the butt of a gun. So then he took the shoes. Oh, Phyllis, let's go. So victims ran to the house for help, called 911, responding units, found the vehicle, ran a red light after seeing the police. Turned on the red lights, kept on driving, wrecked out. And the juvenile with a gun, or the person with a gun was a juvenile who was on probation with us. Mr. Berger, they're using her sexuality to set up a crime. It's just something, especially something as violent as this, something I'm not comfortable with. I'm releasing Phyllis. I think you're in absolute danger. Anything else to release you. And so, do we have a parent here?
Yes, it's both parents.
Okay. Hello, Mom and Dad. Yeah, this is one of those, like, I've just seen too many cases where a a girl sets up a robbery and the guy who comes in ends up killing somebody, and now the girl's looking at a first-degree capital murder charge. But this is just, it's an absolute disregard. It's using her homosexuality to lure somebody into just the most serious of crimes. So I think court is August 4th, right, Phyllis? So we will see you then. Is that with me, Mary? Do we know? She is on level 1 standing. I understand.
Level has never dropped, not even one time.
And she's actually never been here before.
Never been here before, and Dad will be assuming custody of her in the event of probation. So there will be a change in the custodian.
Right.
Just want the court to be aware of that.
No, I'm aware. Thank you, Phyllis. I appreciate what you're doing. Hopefully that allows your attorney to do a better job and use your job for your case. I don't think you understand how serious this is. So we're literally a quarter inch trigger pull from a capital murder charge. That's where we're at right now. So I'm not amused at all by this. That's an understatement. So I'm going to continue to think this how serious this is. Okay. Thank you, Phyllis.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Berger. Alexander. Robbie's case. Mr. Berger?
Yes, sir.
Our attorney today is Edwin. I guess he accepted but failed to show up. You want to take over? Sure. That's right. Thank you. All right. Tanner, you've been for about 6 weeks now. You were on probation for evading arrest in a motor vehicle and stealing a car. And then back in June, 4th, he brought you in. They're saying that about 1 o'clock in the morning. There's an investigation on the 25th on the stolen vehicle and found you parked in front of a garage. Loaded several juveniles. Police made eye contact with you as you were passing by. When they turned around, you sped out of the parking lot, turned lights and sirens, continued driving on 21st Street. There, 1 gun involved, and you turned south, and all 6 occupants jumped out and ran. All arrested. You were hiding behind a shed and detained. So, all right. So you're on probation for stealing a car, and you get brought in while you're on probation, you're smoking marijuana, and you're in another stolen car. You're also on probation for evading a motor vehicle, and now you get arrested for another evading motor vehicle. So at this point, Alex, I think if I was to release you, you would just steal another car, smoke more weed, and run for the police again. Well, you shake your head, but you're on probation for the exact same offenses. You get caught with the exact same type of offense. Like you learn nothing for the first time. So you shake your head. You have not given me a single reason to think that you changed. Do we have a parent here? Mom, speak English?
Yes,
Where's this tattoo from? How long has he had that?
ever since he was abandoned by his dad.
So how old was he when he was abandoned by his dad?
That was in 2013.
So he's had that tattoo since he was abandoned, since he was 8 years old.
He started having that. Yes.
No. How long has he had the tattoo?
Oh, the tattoo just recently. I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you're saying, but yeah, it was just recently.
Where do you get the tattoo from? So Alex, you were not following your rules of your mom. You're not even telling your mom. I'm sure she asked you. I mean, you have disrespect for your mom. You have disrespect for me. Like, give me a reason why you should go to TJJ. Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I know he's done about a lot of bad things, and I have talked to him a lot. Okay, and I know that he's changing the way he's talking to me. He's changing his thinking, and I believe that he is willing to change now. I mean, I want to give him that benefit of the doubt.
I know.
I work from home now. I only work like 1 day out of the house every 2 weeks. Therefore, I have more time to watch him, and if he does anything wrong, I will be the first one to notify Ms. Lopez.
So then how long was he on probation?
Before he came back in.
Right.
Before he came back in, we thought about 6 months.
So Mom, how much weed was he smoking over those 6 months?
How much what?
Weed was he smoking over those 6 months?
I'm really not sure. I saw him about, I mean, us as parents could see, their eyes and their expression and everything.
Why was he out at 1 o'clock in the morning?
Since he left. I mean, he wasn't on a
Mom,
thing or anything.
yeah,
like that.
here's the problem. Mom, he doesn't respect you. He doesn't respect me. He rolls his eyes at me. He shakes his head at me. He has no respect for anybody else. He's selfish. He's a baby. He's going to do what he wants to do. And so it just upsets me when somebody's on probation and they get picked up with the exact same offense. That means they learned nothing from their first experience. And so if I was to release him, I have nothing to indicate that he's learned anything because his attitude today sucks as well. So if I let him go to you, his attitude with you is going to suck. So that's, it is what it is. So Alexander, we're going to detain you. We'll see you next time. Thank you. But I guess you showed up. Thank you, Ms. Bird. Martin. Martin. Good.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Murphy does not have to.
All right, thank you.
All right, Martin, been here for about 6 weeks now. On probation for burglary of a habitation, that's determinate or indeterminate, and theft of property from 2,500 to 30,000. You've had a prior probation for unlawfully carrying a weapon, assault. So while you're on probation, back in June, stolen vehicle at 7-Eleven on 28th Street. Police pulled in, stolen vehicle fled at a high rate of speed before it stopped. Officer did not pursue it since it went to stockyards, but everyone was tracking you. Continue a high rate of speed, we had stoplights, there was a collision, and 3 males exited. So police hold the stop. Driver identified as a Hispanic male, gray shirt, shorts. And somebody said, hey, this person's hiding in the back of a house. And I found you peeking out. Wearing gray tank top, jean shorts, barefoot, with gray shirt laying nearby. And you asked, are you going to get more time for being the driver? So, found a pair of sandals on the driver's side of the stolen car. So again, we have on probation for stealing a car. That 2,500, 30,000, that's a car, right? Yes. Okay, so on probation for stealing a car, now in another stolen car, crash out, driving running stoplights in the stockyards, and smoking weed. So, well, Martin, you just heard the one with the kid before. You got on probation for offense, get picked up with the exact same thing. Tells me you learned nothing. Do we have a parent here? No? Okay. Yeah, so anyways, I've got to detain you because I believe that if I was to let you go, you'd be a danger to yourself or others. All right, thank you, Martin. Thank you, Mr. Youngblood. Edgar. Yes. Thank you. Never been here before. July 11th, been here for a week. Is this turnover requested? Fourth part, you brought you in. Then July 11th, 7:30. Boy was hit by a Chevy Colorado outside the house. calling 911, mother victim was able to get recordings from security cameras. Child seen riding his bicycle from the driveway with a tan pickup truck, hidden object, dust from the collision. Truck does not stop, accelerated. Mom on her was able to find the license plate, registered owner, went to the address. Dad looked at the backyard, found the car, the truck with the same license plate in the video, and called the police. Police spoke with Edgar, said that he was driving, and a little black kid came out of nowhere and hit his vehicle. He felt the vehicle drive over an object, which he thought was a bike vehicle. Saw the kid flung to the right at the time of the collision. Said he did not stay on the side of a child on the ground, kept driving, went to the house, parked the vehicle in the backyard. And he was arrested on a warrant for accident involving the person injury death. Victim was transported to court. Many injuries. All right, so what's the time frame on this? So the time of accident was what?
I believe it was a Saturday, 7:28 p.m. and shortly thereafter, information was provided over to law enforcement. On Sunday, Mr. Rios had interviewed with the detective and cooperated with law enforcement. And a few days later, a warrant was issued, and Mr. Rios was not able to return home to meet police officers. So I surrendered him at a different location to law enforcement to turn himself in for that warrant. He's been had a brief detention hearing. He only was in for less than 12 hours at that point. And so we expect the first official detention hearing that we had him to make a determination as to his behavior. He's level 1, no history. He's succeeded. He's got a certificate of achievement for his outstanding character while he's been detained. He was supposed to have finished summer school, but not able to do so. He was detained for credits on both of the grants.
Sure. Okay. All right. So, a couple questions. What do we have parents here?
Yes, Your Honor. That may be
Okay. So where's okay, the question is, did they know about the truck being damaged, the accident?
After people showed up with firearms to the house.
So he just drove into the backyard and mom doesn't even know about the car back there?
¿Usted supiste sobre el carro atrás en tu casa después que llegó tu hijo?
No, porque nos estamos en la parte de atrás por mi madre, porque habíamos una persona, estamos en un rosario, rezando por la persona, y mi hijo entró por el otro lado.
El juez está preguntando si sabes, espera señor, está preguntando si supiste que tu hijo llegó con la troca y se estacionó ahí atrás. ¿Cuándo aprendiste eso?
Cuando llegó la gente
She's saying she was not aware that her son parked the car in the backyard until people showed up at the house.
¿Cuándo después? ¿Cuándo llegaron las personas?
el domingo.
Sunday morning, there was people who showed up at the house, and that's when she learned what had happened.
So I guess I'm curious, how is there a car parked in the backyard and not know?
¿Cómo está estacionado el carro atrás, en tu yarda atrás, si usted no sabes?
Por lo mismo que le digo que estábamos atrás, estábamos en un rosario, y mucha gente estaba entrando a dar la condolencia de la persona que había muerto, y por eso no tenemos parqueadero, y él no dijo.
There was an active rosary going on. They were praying over somebody who had passed away, unrelated to this, and there was cars coming in and out during that period of time.
Of the backyard?
In her backyard, yes, there was actually.
Había varias personas que estaban ahí atrás.
There was a group of people who were in the backyard praying over somebody who recently passed away, and so cars were coming in and out.
So whose car is it in Colorado?
¿Quién es el dueño de la troca?
My son,
Mi hijo y mi esposo.
brother of Mr. Rios.
Okay. They've Mr. Rios, Mr. Rios have permission to drive that car?
¿Tuvo permiso sobre nuestro No.
How often does he take other people's cars?
¿Qué tantas veces ha llevado otras personas carros? O sea, de otras personas sin permiso.
No, nada más es como hacer los
He hasn't, but he recently got his learner's permit. He probably just saw the opportunity, and this is kind of where he ended up.
So she said he's in summer school. Why is he in summer school?
If I may answer your honor,
Yes.
he had fallen behind on credits, and I think he had to make some up. And summer school has since ended, so he's going to have to make those up this coming school year. And I believe school starts on August 22nd. If I'm not mistaken.
So he missed credits because he's skipping school or he failed?
It was a mixture of both, and it was skipping school and then also struggling to keep up during COVID with his online classes. But it was a mixture of both. There was some skipping.
And it's hard to pass when you skip school.
I do want to emphasize he did cooperate with law enforcement on 2 separate occasions. Gave them to detectives, owned up to driving the vehicle at the time of the accident. Has no history, and he's got the support of his family, who would ensure that he would make it to every court appearance. And their family has been in constant communication with my office as far as any status updates or any information we need regarding this case. And the only factor that is checked off here is just because of the nature of the offense being a hit and run accident.
Sure. How far is it home from the accident location?
I believe it's within a mile. It was very, very close. He was on his way home, from what I understand.
Mr. Lara, that sounds about right. Are you here for Janet? Is this your case or Janet's?
It's Jan's case, I'm covering.
Mr. Rios was a level 2 last week, but that's because an evaluation wasn't done. So you can see the change or something like that. The last session hearing, but it was just undetermined at that point in time. So the court has had a proper, probation had a proper.
He's on a level 1 today, 1 outstanding.
Since the 17th.
Yes. You don't have the detention reports if you would like to review
Oh, on why you dropped?
with the levels.
Okay. No, I think I'm okay because it's been 10 days, calendar days since it got to level 1.
Yes. He doesn't have any infractions or sanctions either.
And no cars. Okay. All right, Edgar. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and release you to your parents. I can place an electronic monitor. Y'all sit down. All y'all sit down. Ed, please. What do y'all think this is? Your victims? All right, so all 5 of them that were here, please take their names. They're not allowed to attend the court proceedings in this case. I'm going to find that all 5 of them behave in ways that are inappropriate and disturbing to the court process and prevent the finder of fact. Ma'am, you need to stop right now. They're preventing the court from receiving the information that's presented, and it's a distraction to the court or violating the decorum of the courtroom. I'm finding that any rights entitled under the Texas Family Code are outweighed by the interest of justice in the finer fact making determinations. They can wait till this is done. Yes, he'll be released with electronic monitor. Sure. All right, so he's restricted to be in the home straw until school starts. And we can make adjustments to the school. No extracurricular activities, but you may have access after school hours to make up for it. Okay? All right. Thank you, Mr. Rios. All right, Gabrielle. All right, Gabrielle, 14. Please with dispatch of domestic. Mom said she was cooking when you started telling her she was worthless and calling her names. Mom said she had enough, tried to discipline you. Went to your room, she followed. Sprayed her in the face with a Febreze bottle. Then kicked her in the ribs. Brought her here. You have a prior family violence case over you having some weed in your room. So, and your level 3 confined. Why is he level 3 confined?
The most recent comment is a near peer conflict.
All right. Well, Gabrielle, if you don't fix your eyes, you're not getting out here. Thank you. Angel. Thank you, Mr. Youngblood. Mr. Torres, you're almost 16 years old. You were delinquent for stealing a car, unauthorized use of motor vehicle, prohibited building, putting on probation to 18. You're supposed to live with your mom in Itasca. So when you're in Hill County, they notified us you stole a vehicle, ran out with the call, and they were filing charges for unauthorized use of motor vehicle. And you had with you a female who was listed at a turnpike runaway. Mom actually tried to enroll the female in the school down there. Dallas County picked you up for a failure to ID. When they went out to a burger and motor vehicle call, and you were with the runaway. All right, well, and you're level 3. Why is he level 3 confined?
Not just that he was disrupted, so it was continuous throughout the day.
When is court set for this?
August 13th.
All right, I'll see you August 13th. We'll take care of it then. Does it make it easy for you, don't it?
No. I wish I could say something to us.
You can predict how today was going to turn out. Kristen. Okay. Provided by Grand Prairie Police, judge Porter issued a warrant because you're unsuccessfully discharged from a parental placement. Behavior, self-harming, non-compliance. We have on here. Okay. We have some here from unknown.
No, she's not here.
Look, I just take this time to tell you, positive amphetamines prescription maybe? Are you taking prescriptions? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna assume that it's prescribed.
Yeah.
Okay. Or that's why you're positive, is that it's legal. All right, look, Kristen, I'm just gonna have just a straight up conversation with you, just a short one. Okay? Because you've got a juvenile case, this is one of those, you just don't have the same like liberties and rights that other 6-year-old adults do. You understand? Decisions were made, good or bad, this is where you're at now. And you have to understand that you can't do it your way anymore because like I'm involved, right? And the sooner you want me out of your life, the sooner you just go through the motions, get it done, move on, get done with your case, right? And then you can make your own decisions, good or bad. But you understand, what I'm saying is later on in life as an adult, you get to decide whether a decision is good or bad. While you've got a case in here, I'm the one that decides whether the decision is good or bad. Okay, so I know I'm all up in your business. I'm not interfering with a bunch of things, but you have to understand this is the way the court process works. Okay, so while you've got this case, you just got to do it like my way. Does that make sense? I'm not asking you to like it. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just telling you that's the way it is. Okay, so the sooner you can get to that point where you just realize I'm just not going to fight Judge Kim anymore, your life's going to be so much easier. Okay, and that's not just with Kim. It's like any juvenile judge. Right? Anytime you're involved with the court, which is why a lot of people don't get involved with courts, right? And so for now, I'm afraid you're going to run away. Right? I'm not happy you were discharged without this case, and I definitely want to talk to the advocate from about. So I'm going to detain you for now, but I don't want you to stay here, right? I want you to believe me, I don't want you here. But what I'm afraid of is if I send you someplace that you're not going to participate, you're going to be disruptive, and then you just have to go back. Does that make sense? So I guess I'm kind of asking you just kind of work the system. Is like if you do go to another parental placement, you do it to say basically I'm doing this so I can keep Judge Kim out of my life. Right. So just something to think about. That's Felicia, when you can figure out, we'll get the advocate, figure out what kind of plan is. I don't want to wait 10 days for this young lady. All right, Kristen, I want you out of here as soon as possible, but I'm not going to just open the door and let you out. Okay, so if your advocate comes by and talks to you, cooperate with her. Hopefully we can figure out ways to get you out of here faster and to a better place. Okay. Any questions from you? You understand where you're at? You understand why I'm doing what I'm doing? Okay, thanks, Kristen. Thank you. All right, Sebastian.
Yeah,
Yes. Thank you. right, Sebastian, you are now 17 years old. Dr. Howard unsuccessfully discharged you after we extended your probation for 6 months. You were violating current probation. And your probation is extended for impulsive and inappropriate behavior. All right, Sebastian, this is what I want you to understand is you are in a position in your life where you cannot make the same decisions or have the same discretion as other 17-year-old young men. This is the position that you were put in because of decisions that were made years ago. Okay. So please do the result. Ed, I put the locker up too. We're gonna run out of space.
Maybe the new buildings will have an extra cage in.
Oh, well, we have like 6 cells in the new building. You figure out what it was? Kid? Oh, okay. I think you're telling me like they were angry with the vending machine. Okay. All right, so Sebastian, this is what I'm saying, right? Decisions were made 3 years ago and put you in this position. You have the probation. That means, what probation means is you were actually committed to TJJD, but we're giving you a chance to be in the community as long as you follow all the rules, and that way you don't have to go, okay? I have every intention of you never having to go to TJJD, but do you understand that you've already been committed to TJJD? That was part of your adjudication and disposition hearing. That's how you got probation. That's how you got probation, was this idea that you were promising that you'll follow all the rules. So while there may be things that other kids your age can do, you just don't have that ability, or you don't have that liberty, okay? So at this point, one of the conditions was for the counseling. That is an absolute condition for me. That's critically important. Now, the smaller decisions that you make along the way that got you unsuccessfully discharged, now that's for this different spot. I'm not giving up on you, right? I want to look at other kind of residential or inpatient treatment that the doctor's recommending, but you understand there is a consequence to your decision. You're free to make choices. You were free to make the choices you did while you were in Dr. Howard's program, but you're not free to choose the consequence of your choices. And the consequence at this point is going to go into taking, right? I need you to understand how serious I am about this whole process. You started all this before, I guess it was early on when I took the bench that you got the probation. So I just need you to understand that I am absolutely serious about this. If I have to send you to TJJD, I will. But I'm not going to give up yet. I want to look for us, have a search for a residential treatment because your doctor is recommending it. But you understand, we're only at this point because you chose to violate some of the rules that we had, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so is this determined or indeterminate?
It's indeterminate.
Okay, good. That's at least that's going for him. So at this point, we're going to take him into custody. All right, let's go and start a placement search. Do we need an updated psychological, or we're probably good since he's been under doctor treatment, aren't we? We don't. Okay, so I can let you know now the wait for a psychological examination is about 6 weeks. So we can start the resource staffing, which is kind of like a precursor, but we can't actually go and get a placement found for you until after the psychological. So you're looking at your 6 weeks, at least 7 or 8 weeks before we can actually find a place. Okay. But this is the idea. We're doing this so we can avoid TJJD. If you're wanting to go to TJJD now, we can start that process. That's something to talk to your attorney about. Because the sooner you go, the sooner you get out. but I'm trying to find the least restrictive means. And I'm generally trying to avoid sending you to detention, okay? Yes, Mr. Youngblood.
I suggest the court think about putting him on an electronic monitor and having him report to his probation officer every week for status updates, and of course, if he messes up.
Right, part of my concern is he's 17, he's practically a man,
Yes,
right? And I'm not worried about him running away, I'm worried about poor decision-making, right? I'm trying to be discreet here, but I'm worried about his poor decision-making skills. And at this age, I think it's difficult for a parent to adequately supervise just by the nature of any 17-year-old, right? So at this point, and there's also the idea that this is the consequence, and you knew there's a risk, and you got caught, this is the risk, and this is the consequence of that decision, okay?
the reason I bring it up, Your Honor, is as far as staying for custody, that's what I was thinking, and then the weekly reports to have updates on whether he is doing some other violations.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at this stuff now, and this is, to get Dr. Howard to unsuccessfully discharge you, that means Dr. Howard made a good faith effort, and it's one of those.
I read it.
Yeah.
I was agreeing. I was just trying to think of an alternative for 6 weeks.
Yes, I'm not really comfortable with that. I'm trying to get that number down, but the more psychologicals that are ordered, the longer the wait goes. So our wait's still about 6. I'm gonna review this. I'm not hard set on this. I do know that you're going to custody now because you were successfully discharged. That was automatic. Now, whether you stay here the whole 6 weeks or not, I'm not sold on that one yet. Okay? Yes. All right. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Youngblood.
That's my car keys and a wallet.
Don't be discreet about that street. Just right across the. It's all. Thank you. Do you like the stamp though? Do you like the stamp? I think it's a good idea.
I did. Thank you. Thank you.
Nobody wants to stay for this. Ed, you want to bring him in? This is not going to go well for him.
I'm gonna make some notes on my computer. Unless this is a closed hearing or something.
No, this is not.
I find if I don't write stuff down, I can't remember later.
Do you have Kelly? Do you want Kelly?
Pardon?
Do you want Kelly?
Kelly? Pelletier.
Bring our machine.
Okay.
Is that my part?
Yes, sir.
Had a little,
Okay, thank you. Oh, for you.
embarrassed for y'all, but you can keep better control of course.
Hello? Yes, need a record. Usually, this is something you're not gonna see very often. Yeah, but that's. Just both of it.
You under my authority?
Yes, sir.
previous, you just released money. The parents pointed out if we can go live to a different house. They're concerned with
Retaliation. So where's mom?
their concerns.
Where does mom live?
Have here, this right here.
Back to the city.
Here's the report, it's part of where they're living now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
She give you the notes on those people? Not allowed anymore.
At all?
Not even final trial, nothing. They violated, they disturbed the court proceedings. And so I know the family code normally allows for victims, but this one, they've already proven that disturbance to the court proceedings. So,
Your Honor,
yes,
since they're related to the victims, can I have a list of who's large so that I know not to
yes,
fight them?
yeah, we'll need their names, Kelly.
It's not my
Sure.
case, I can
Yeah,
see
sure,
if the
yeah.
name.
Yeah, it's Gina had them, but I just need to know who's not allowed in them so I can tell them.
You're the supervisor, aren't you the supervisor?
Yeah, but I know they brought several family members with them. I know the mother and the father, but I don't know who all
That's
came with them.
some pretty slick buck passing right there.
No, I'm not. We'll get you the
So
names.
yeah, if we just have the names and then that way they know not to be fighting.
I'm going to leave you two to try to control the courtroom a little better than you have been.
I don't control them.
Need to get a stun gun.
Here they come.
Sir? So what is your name, sir? JB? JB Johnson. So, Mr. Johnson, I'm gonna let you know that earlier. Sorry, Kelly, this is. All right, Kelly, so this is associated with cause number. Actually, we don't have it.
No cause yet.
No cause yet for the matter of Edgar Rios. So, Mr. Johnson, I bring you before the court because currently you are in custody of the Tarrant County Sheriff. Earlier during Mr. Rios' detention hearing, you stood up in a disturbance to the court while the court was rendering its decision during the detention hearings under the Texas Family Code. The court will find, as a matter of fact, and conclude as a matter of law, that you stood up and disturbed the court proceedings in the presence of the judge, that this court did witness your disturbance as you are getting up and causing disturbance, interrupting the proceedings of this court. The court will also find, as a matter of fact, and conclude as a matter of law, that the court felt that this disturbance was of the extent that it compelled the court to interrupt the court proceedings and the court business and to interrupt the activities of the court, and that this court found it necessary to interrupt the proceedings because of your behavior and because of your disturbance. Furthermore, that your actions interfered with the ability for the 323rd District Court to conduct its duties and compromise the ability to follow the law and to administer justice. The court will find that you violated the decorum of the courtroom and find you in direct contempt of court. Mr. Johnson, I'm going to commit you for direct contempt of court to 30 days in the Tarrant County Jail. Sir, what made this more aggravating is I was asking you all to sit down. The fact that you kept on walking despite hearing me and created even further disturbance, and then caused the bailiff to have to go chase you down in the hallway, and presumably, he was even outside the building, Weisman? Okay, out into the hallway into common area where we had to suspend all the court proceedings because of your decision. Had you sat down, this would have been no big deal. The fact that you kept on going and making it worse, that is why I'm confining you in the Tarrant County Jail. For contempt, I have the ability for up to 6 months. However, I'm trying to be reasonable in this, but I need you to understand that I will not tolerate the disrespect that you gave to the court on this date. Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson. I'll go over the top.
Go ahead.
I've never been this offended by somebody.
Good.
You ever see direct contempt before?
Sorry,
You ever see direct contempt before?
direct contempt. No, I have not.
30 days.
Okay, what can somebody tell me what happened?
That was,
They didn't run.
victim's dad. And they didn't run his.
Okay.
He stormed out during the detention.
He was not with us. Okay.
No.
First,
No.
one person got up, lady, told her to sit down. Knowing that he got up and started screaming, and I kept on yelling at her. And he went,
So we only met with two of them, two women who told him, behave yourself or get in trouble.
Yeah.
He wasn't there at that.
So what's his contempt?
the fact that he was storming out of the courtroom, causing a disturbance, making me address it, and he kept on going and kept on walking. And I had to interrupt the court proceedings because of the sections.
Right. And so you gave him 30 days?
But actually, I need to do 14, because I forgot to state contempt day for day, you don't get a 2-for-1. So do the paperwork, 14 days. So I'll write the order. Usually it's not even worth the effort. This guy's got me so hacked off that I'm actually willing to spend the time to draft this.
So he's been banned as well as some other ones.
Yes.
Judge will give us.
The court's finding that they interfered in the decorum in the proceedings. The court's not allowing them to attend any future court proceedings. If they come in as called witness, that's up to y'all. But as far as their right to attend, their right does not trump the respondent's ability to have a fair trial.
And who was that?
We're gonna get the list of names from victim services. Gina took the names down.
Was it everyone that was in here?
It was not Amy
Okay.
or the other lady.
Now, those two that were sitting there quiet, I'm okay with them coming in.
Yeah, one of them is mom.
The other three, yeah, no way.
Okay. All
Is that, you got called over here for that?
right. Yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you. We were meeting with the family earlier, so I was aware of their presence. Thank you. Were you out? Were you out recently, or are you going out? No? Out of town?
He just came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gone.
Were you gone at the same time?
No, I was gone.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay. I knew I hadn't seen you in a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
And Zane's gone now.
Yeah, Zane's gone for 2 weeks and out of country.
Hunting.
Yes. Did you go on vacation?
I did. I went to New Mexico.
Oh, okay.
And
Do anything fun?
spent
I didn't go on
the
vacation.
You know, I'd like to say it was fun, except I spent the whole time chasing around a 9-year-old.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
I'm worn out.
Wore you out.
Yeah.
That's like. Yes.
No, I've been there.
It is wearing. Okay, all right, let's go deal with this.
Thank you, Jerry.
Do you recognize an attorney in Fort Worth named Steve McSheen?
Judas, yes.
He's wanting me to give you his cell phone number. He says you're playing tag with him
Where's that much? When did you get that message?
this morning. So disregarded it.
Good.
Thanks, Ken, thank you.
Let me know if you need anything.
Okay, yes, thank you. Thanks, Ed. All right. How are you?
Well. Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks, George.
Is that the first one you've done?
I think so.
They're very, for me, it's not worth the time to have to write this up. Yeah, he actually pissed me off enough that I'm not, will actually spend the time.
That's not good.
I mean, and I'm not out of reason on this one, am I? You think?
Yeah, he changed his attitude. He was very apologetic.
Because I just got done telling his wife or whatever to stop.
Oh, really?
And he did the exact same thing and ignored me and walked out. And I had to stop the whole hearing for him.